Alright, so today I'm going to be surviving 500 days in hardcore Minecraft. We have accomplished quite a lot along the way, with automated farms, several sets of netherite armor, decorating my base, and so much more. But for these 100 days, there is some things I want to get done. I want to make even more automated farms, expand my beacon to a quadruple beacon, kill 2 withers at the same time, and get every single achievement in the game. It's a tall order, but I think we can certainly get it done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing. It would really mean a lot to me. And with that, let's just jump into it. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to get done here was actually make myself a villager breeding room, because I had an idea for several different automated farms throughout this video, but I needed several more villagers to get that done. So after I dug out that area, I wanted to decorate it, and I just decided I would decorate the entire room with purple blocks. So I just really quick went to the end, just started destroying this end city, as well as grabbing some of this fruit here, which, unbeknownst to me, you can actually turn this fruit into purple blocks. That was actually interesting to learn, but yeah, went to the end, gathered all the supplies I needed, and while we wait for past me to actually start decorating that room, I figured I would let you guys know that I finally actually released some merch, and I am actually really happy with how all of these designs turned out. So I really hope you guys like it as well. If you want to go ahead and buy something for yourself, just head on over to zelkshop.com and you can get something like a hoodie or a t-shirt, or actually this sweater that I had designed just like my Minecraft skin, which I was really proud of. So yeah, I hope you guys like that, and let's just get on with the video. And this is our final design. I have to say, I am a horrible builder, but I was actually pretty proud of how this turned out. I thought it looked really cool. So now all we had to do was actually just move the villagers in here and start throwing food at them, and we'd have more villagers. So yeah, it was nighttime, so it was really easy. I just placed down a bunch of beds and they automatically walked in by themselves. So yeah, there you go. Got that done pretty fast and pretty simple. So I just started throwing food their way, and in no time flat, we already had a couple new villagers. Next, I wanted to work on decorating my base a little bit. I wanted to make like a bigger, more realistic acacia tree. So I needed a ton of acacia wood and a ton of acacia leaves. Lucky for me, I had all of this area up here with a ton of acacia trees, because I tried to get a raid to spawn here once, so I needed a bunch of darkness. So yeah, I just bone mealed a bunch of trees up there. So I just went ahead and broke all of them, got a ton more trees, and in no time flat, we had all of the supplies we needed for this tree. I ended up messing up the trunk of this tree so many times that I ended up having to break it and rebuild it multiple times. But eventually, I did end up on a design that I thought looked pretty good. So just had to build up the branches, cover everything with a bunch of decorations and all of the leaves, and we had our final tree. I thought it could have looked a little bit better. I wasn't overly satisfied with how it turned out, but I still thought it looked pretty cool. And added a nice little bit of decoration to my base, something that's been, you know, lacking, really boring. So adding this was really nice. I also spent some time with other decorations, like for example, I finally gave my horse a properly built stable. And on top of that, I did build another custom tree off to the left. You will see it here in a second. Yeah, I just spent these few days continuing to decorate my island, make it better, look better, all of that. Next, I obviously continued farming. I decided to go with potatoes and all of that because I needed a surplus of food to continue to breed my villagers, so that was very important. And once that was done, I actually wanted to start working on some achievements. I wasn't gonna get them all done right now, but I at least wanted to get started. And the first thing I wanted to do was actually get a trident. So I flew around the ocean until I found this ruin where a bunch of drowned were spawning, so I spent the rest of the night here trying to get myself a trident, only to not get lucky and not a single one of these zombies spawned with a trident, so I ended up having to leave, wait till nighttime again to come back. But while I was waiting for nighttime again, I completed some other achievements. Like for instance, I spawned this iron golem. I also went and did some achievements with honey blocks and stuff like that. All of it is kind of boring, so I'm just gonna skip over that. And by the next night, we finally, after so long, got a drowned with a trident. We killed him, and there you go, got our trident. I then went to my XP grinder to go ahead and enchant it. I wanted to get the channeling enchant because you need the achievement for that, to hit a villager with lightning with the trident, so I did that. I hit the villager, only to eventually do my research and realize that lightning doesn't spawn unless there's a lightning storm occurring, so I had to wait for that. While I was waiting for that, I went and got other achievements, like for instance shooting that pillager with a crossbow. But later that night, while I was AFK, I actually heard some thunder, so I flew over to the village, found a villager, threw the trident at it, and there you go, completed that achievement. Another achievement was killing every single hostile mob in the game, something I had not done. There was only a few mobs that I was missing, and they were all pretty simple to get, except for the zoglin. hoglin, which you have to take a hoglin into the overworld and then it turns into a zoglin. And I was struggling to get this thing into the overworld. For some reason, it wouldn't go through the portal. It took me a while to realize that my portal was in a bad spot in the overworld and it was never going to go through. So I had to make a new one, lead a different hoglin through, and then there you go. Killed him, and now all I needed was one more mob, found them, and completed our achievement. Killed every awesome mob in the game. I worked on other achievements for a little while. I'm just gonna skip over some of them because they are a little bit boring, but the other grindy one that I did that took me a little while to do was actually discover every biome. Now, I had discovered a lot of biomes already because I had flown around with my elytra quite a lot, but I was still missing a few, and the primary one that I was missing was the Mushroom Island. This one took me so long to find. But eventually, while flying through the ocean, as you can see, I did find it. That was the last biome that I needed, and there you go. We have discovered every single biome. Next, I wanted to work on my beacon, and I needed extra iron, so I went to my iron golem farm, only to find that the villagers from my iron golem farm are gone. They're not in that room anymore, so no iron golems are spawning. I have no idea what happened to them. My best guess is they ended up getting too close to the zombie and died. I'm not quite certain. But yeah, I had to actually go to my villager farm and then make this railway station to ship a few more villagers into there so I can get this thing started again. So that's exactly what I did. I added protection in the corners so that way hopefully the villagers wouldn't die again. And there you go. I went ahead and stuck around for a little bit just to make sure that everything was working fine. And as you can see right there, an iron golem spawned. So we got that back up and running again. And after AFKing for a little bit, as you can see right there, we got ourselves a few stacks of iron ingots. So it was working quite efficiently. Like I said, I wanted a quadruple beacon. So I started adding to the exterior of my beacon here, and it actually isn't really that hard to get a quadruple beacon. You only need like less than 100 extra blocks. And the way it is right now, I could add 3 more beacons to this thing, but I don't have 3 beacons. I only have 1 extra. So I just threw that 1 down right there, gave myself some strength, and of course had to keep up with breeding my villagers because I was still going to need some more of those in the future. And now I had the idea that I actually wanted to remove my beacon. When I placed my beacon here, I never intended for it to be permanently placed here. I just sort of place it there. So I decided to clear out this area, clear out all of these little houses here, and I was actually going to build a castle. And I was going to put the beacon inside the castle. It would look really nice with the decorations and all of that. So yeah, I spent the next couple of days gathering all of the supplies that I needed for this thing. I was following a video tutorial. So if you want to build a castle for yourself, I will leave credit in the description. But also, I downloaded a mod which adds an overlay for this castle. As you can see, this is just a hologram, so it makes it so much easier to realize what blocks I need to place where. It's so much more simple, and it's gonna make the time lapse look a lot more simple. But it was really hard to get this hologram because I actually had to build this castle in a creative world and then get the hologram and then move it to this world. So yeah, a little bit time consuming, but as you can see, I think it was well worth it in the end as we are building our castle here. It'll take me a few days to build this thing, and it was going to look really nice in the background of my videos, and it was going to be a very nice place to store my beacon. And after a little bit more decorating and moving the beacon in, there you go. My castle is finally completed. I added some dyed glass to the top of these beacons to give the beams a little bit of color just for fun. And I'll just go ahead and show you around the castle a little bit. The castle doesn't really serve any purpose or anything. I don't really need it. It's just, I don't know. I'm not actually going to use the farms up here or anything. It's just purely for decoration to look really cool. And I like how it looks. I thought it looked pretty good. Now, what I needed was 2 more beacons so I could have the entire thing max out with 4 beacons, but for that I was going to need to kill 2 more withers. And I didn't originally plan on killing 2 withers at the same time, but I mean, I needed to kill 2 withers, so I figured I'd just do that. But first I needed the 6 wither skulls, and I actually found out a pretty good path to take around my base to find and kill withers quite efficiently, which as you can see is what I'm doing right here. And in pretty much no time flat, it only took me like a couple of days, I had all 6 wither skulls that I needed. So I went back to my base and I decided to prepare for my wither fight a little bit. I wasn't really that scared because of all the armor I had. I mean, withers really aren't that scary, but I decided to prepare just in case with some potions. I then had the idea to go to the end and fight these withers in the end because I needed a ton of obsidian in the future for achievements. So if I I placed these withers close enough to the obsidian, in the end, they would automatically break the obsidian for me, mining it out so much faster than I ever could. So this was going to be a sort of 2-in-1 adventure for me. As you can see, I go around the obsidian here, so hopefully they break as much of it as possible. I drank my potions to get ready, and then I primarily just targeted one wither at first. I figured it'd be a lot more simple just to kill one and then the other, so that's exactly what I did. I killed that one wither, and then as you can see, this other wither is still stuck underground in the end, and he's still breaking the obsidian for me, which is really, really nice of him. If you want to take a look at my HP, I never actually dropped below, I think, 2 or 3 hearts from this entire wither fight. It's actually kind of funny how easy killing withers is, but yeah. Killed him, got my nether star, got over a stack of obsidian from this, and this was a pretty successful trip. We got a lot of supplies from this. So I turned those 2 into beacons, and then I got my other effects. I decided not to go with jump boost because I really didn't want that, and I decided to go with regeneration instead of resistance 2 because I already have my armor. I don't really need that great of resistance. So yeah, got all of my effects. Got some colored glass to make the beams all nice and colorful, and there you go. I am now walking around my base with 5 potion effects at the same time. And something that's really, really interesting, which I don't think everyone knows about, if you have haste 2 from a beacon and a maxed out efficiency pickaxe, you can actually instantly mine stone. Like it's like netherrack or something. It's actually really, really interesting. With this, if you have the beacon in an area, you could probably mine out an entire chunk in something like 15 minutes. It's so insanely fast, and it's definitely going to be useful in the future if I ever need to find myself a surplus of diamonds. Next, to make my beacon a little bit more fancy, I actually wanted to cover the top in emeralds, but I didn't have enough emeralds, so I had to complete some raids. So I went ahead and just broke my beacon, flew over to a different village to give myself some nice beacon effects while I completed the raid in this village. I didn't want to do it in my original village because I didn't want to risk my villagers' lives, so yeah. I did have this village really, really close to the pillager outpost. As you can see right here, it was literally only a couple hundred blocks away, so it was really, really convenient. So I flew over to the outpost, found the pillager with the banner, killed him, got the bad omen effect, and flew back to the village. Now, there were a bunch of trees and everything in the way. This actually wasn't really the best village to have a raid. It was not a hill, and there was a bunch of obstacles in my way, so I just burned it all down, and I think this fire actually killed off the first wave because I didn't kill any of the pillagers in the first wave. They all just died. But yeah, I actually had to turn on hitboxes to make finding the pillagers easier because they kept on getting lost and stuck on trees and mountains and stuff. So yeah, I definitely probably should have went with a different village, but eventually I did sort of get the hang of where they were spawning, so I met them where they spawned so they didn't have to climb the mountain or anything. But after a while, we did get everything down to just the final wave here. And I have to say, pillager raids at the final wave are kind of scary. I mean, these rhino things deal a massive amount of damage. Plus all the other stuff combined, it's really quite insane. I ended up having to eat one of my golden apples and use a health potion, but we did finally kill every single raid member and completed our raid. Now, I didn't have enough emeralds to actually complete the beacon like I wanted, so I had to do another raid. But like I said, I did not want to do it here. This was a very highly inconvenient village. So I went over to my beacon, broke that, so I could move shop to a different village. And about 1,000 blocks away, I knew of a village that was in a plains biome, so it wasn't really in a convenient spot close to the pillager outpost, but it was still more convenient being in a plains biome. So I went back to the pillager outpost and just started killing the pillagers over and over and over again until eventually one of them with a banner spawned in, went over to him, killed him, and got my bad omen effect, and then flew back to the village in the plains biome where I started the raid. I was a little bit more scared of this raid because I didn't have my potion effects from before. I had the beacon giving me resistance plus several strength potion effects. I did not have the strength potions anymore, so I decided the beacon would just give me strength, and I was actually going to use this axe to fight the raiders because you can actually one-shot the raiders with the strength from a beacon plus critting them with the axe. And now, I said I was scared, but I don't know if I'd say I was a coward or not, but yeah, jumping in the water and then attacking the raiders' toes so that way they can't hurt me is definitely not the bravest thing I've ever done in my life, but yeah, you guys are always yelling at me that I should probably hold a totem of undying, so I did that as well. I just wanted to be really sure that I wasn't gonna die during this raid. And in case you guys are ever wondering what literally an entire raid looks like from the sky above, this is what it looks like. Just a bunch of running around with things that you can't really understand is happening, and watching this just now, I realized that even I have no idea what's happening, but yeah, this is me just running around trying not to die, killing all of the raiders until eventually I completed it, got all of the emeralds that I needed, destroyed my beacon so I could make my way back home to my base, put everything back together, and got all of our emerald blocks ready, and we had literally just enough emerald blocks to complete the top of this thing with all emeralds. Super fancy, absolutely loved it. After that, I decided to repair armor from my raid, and pro tip, if you're gonna use your elytra, you should probably actually equip your elytra so you don't fall and die. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we always have feather falling on our boots. But yeah, I went to my XP grinder to repair some of my armor. I just started to mess around a little bit for a couple of days. I also had to gather some supplies for a project that I was about to work on. So yeah, got all of my XP. I AFK'd to get some more food, to breed some more villagers, a whole stuff, all of that. But eventually we did get everything completed and we could move on to our next project. And what I wanted to work on was actually an automatic farm for carrots and potatoes. I needed quite a lot of supplies for this, and it was kind of complicated to build all of this, so shout out to the person that designed this. Again, proper credit will be in the description. So I started building all of this. Really simple. I moved all of my villagers in the same way I did with the iron golem spawner, and when I moved this villager in, he decided to do something kind of interesting. Just started breakdancing on the wool in the corner here. I thought that was pretty interesting, and then, you know, he stopped, he became a farmer, all of that, but no, he didn't stop. He just moved to the other corner and started dancing over there as well. I have no idea what is going on with this villager. I've never seen villagers do this before, but yeah, he was just having a fun old time, and then he finally decided, you know what, that's enough. I'm gonna start farming now. So yeah, that was fun. I then built my second layer, which was going to be used for potatoes, and there you go. Just got all of that finally finished, and in case you guys are wondering, again, how I moved all of these villagers in, it's just really simple. You wait till nighttime when they're all sleeping, break one of their beds, and then you just shove them in a minecart. They then get sent all the way up through there exactly where you want them to be, and then to get them into this tiny little spot, I actually placed a workstation for them, so once I broke the minecart, they got attracted to that workstation, moved right over there, and I could just trap them all in. So yeah, there you go. Really simple, really easy. And after all of that, this thing was pretty much completed. I eventually did run into some design flaws, which I had to fix along the way. I also accidentally placed water and broke all my carrots once and had to replace all of that. But yeah, did take me a couple of days to work out the design flaws, but once we did, we got it all working very nice and very efficiently. And this is the completed product. So all of the items are gonna end up going down here in our storage area. Those carrots were just for testing. But yeah, what's gonna happen is these actual farmers are gonna farm the carrots, pick up the items, and they're gonna wanna breed. So they go to the other villager, throw the items, which get caught in the hopper minecarts. Instead of being picked up by the villager, they then get dispensed down there. Yeah, now it's time to do the AFK test, which I actually did this AFK test at like 1 in the morning, and I forgot to start the recording again. So here's just a screenshot of all of the carrots and potatoes I got. I didn't get all of this from one go. This is actually after the full 500 days were up. I took this screenshot, but yeah, I got probably half of those just from one AFK session. Next, I decided to get some more achievements, one of which was just levitate 50 blocks in the air thanks to a shulker, which is extremely easy. You just get hit by a shulker, then pearl upwards, and you complete the challenge. It's really simple. Next was traveling 7,000 kilometers through the Nether, so that's really easy. All you have to do is fly 800 blocks in the Nether, make a portal, and boom, you will pop out around 7,000 blocks in the overworld, and we got that achievement. There you go. A lot of these are really simple, just somewhat tedious, which is why I've never done them in the past, but yeah, I figured we should get them done. Another one is just this, like having a compass point at a lodestone, or charging a respawn anchor, which is pointless in hardcore Minecraft. Again, a lot of it is just so stupidly simple, but I've just never done it yet. I also rode a strider with fungus on a stick, which is something that's really interesting that I've never actually done before, just running around on lava, so there you go. And then my final advancement for the Nether was actually a difficult one that I've never done before, and I struggled quite a lot with this, which is getting a ghast through a nether portal, putting them in the overworld, and then killing them. I struggled with this for so long to lead this stupid ghast through the portal, until finally I got him close to the portal. Like, come on, I was struggling for like 20 minutes to get that thing in there, but yeah, I eventually did fly around into a new gas spawn. I pulled the gas through only to realize that I totally forgot to make a portal on the other end in the overworld so they couldn't go through. So once I spent a while fixing that, I got yet another gas. Finally pulled that one through. This entire thing took me something like nearly an hour just to do, but I finally pulled him through, killed him, and got the final advancement for the Nether. There you go. That is something I never want to have to do ever again. That was really, really tedious and annoying. Another advancement is eating every single food in the game, even if it's not good for you, which again is just something that I've never done. I've only eaten like 4 foods in this entire video. So yeah, I eventually came up with this idea to start taking damage from these magma blocks, because when you take damage, you lose more hunger. So I took that damage, I ate a ton of rotten flesh along the way to get myself hunger, to try and lose hunger faster, and I just did this literally the entire night. Again, this achievement really wasn't that hard. I had already most of the food that I needed, so there you go. Just ate that final one, and a balanced diet is complete. Next, I wanted to tame every single cat variant in the game, and for this, I was going to need a lot more fish than I already had. Now, since how I traveled every single biome in the game, I have the coordinates written down of like so many villages that I happened to find along the way, so we would just go to these villages, find the cats, and tame them. So it was really, really simple. So I just spent this entire day fishing, getting all of the fish that I needed for this achievement, and then we were on our way. And we just went to the village, found a cat, chased it around until finally we caught up to it, tamed it, and we just did that over and over and over again for a few villages. Until I only needed one more cat. I looked at my game files and it said I had tamed a black cat but not a tuxedo cat, which kind of confused me because this right here is a tuxedo cat and I tamed it, so I should have completed the challenge. Only to eventually, after doing some Googling, realize that in the game files, tuxedo cats are called black cats and black cats are called true black cats, which is really, really weird. So I never actually properly tamed a black cat. And the way that you find a black cat, I found out, is in a swamp in a witch's hut. So I already knew where a swamp was. I flew out to that, found this hut, and as you can see, here is a black cat in the corner. Tamed them, and there you go. Completed that challenge really, really simply, and then I killed the black cat by accident, which I'm certain is probably bad luck, but there you go. Completed that challenge. Now, we were starting to run out of days, and I actually had a couple more achievements left. One was curing a zombie villager. So I trapped a villager, got a zombie stuck in there, and the zombie wasn't killing it for some reason. I think it's because the zombie was aggroing towards me, so I flew away and came back, hoping that the zombie would kill him, and there you go. Turned into a zombie villager. And curing a zombie villager is really, really simple. You splash them with a weakness potion, give him a golden apple, and there you go. Now all you gotta do is wait like a couple of minutes, and they will turn back into a regular villager. I just AFK'd here waiting for him to do that. I wasn't certain if it would happen if I wasn't in render distance, so yeah, I just sat here AFK, and then after a couple of minutes, right there, zombie villager has been cured, and we completed that achievement. So I just decided, you know what, we're gonna spawn in the enderdragon for a 4th time and kill this enderdragon yet again. I already had all the supplies I needed, and I decided, you know what, we're actually gonna try to use the bed method to kill this enderdragon. I've never done that before. Well, I mean, I have, but like in single player worlds off recording, I've never actually done it before just to actually do it for a video. It's been a while since I practiced it, so I don't know if I'm actually gonna be any good at it, but I decided, hey, you know what, we can give it a shot. So I respawned the enderdragon and just sat at the top of this tower waiting for the enderdragon to perch down at the bottom until eventually I noticed it was circling around that tower, which indicates it was going to perch. So I flew on down, I prepared my bed, I got everything ready, and yeah, I got one good hit on the enderdragon, which was the very first bed, and then after that I completely failed the timing of every single one of these beds, and I didn't even do half HP of this thing. Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. Like I said, it's been a while since I practiced it, so ran out of beds. Heck with that. We just flew around with our elytra to take out every single tower, and yeah, we're just gonna have to do this, you know, the regular old-fashioned way. And something that's actually really surprising about this ender dragon is something that's never actually happened before. While I was flying around and hitting it with a bow, it never actually went down and perched. I did every single bit of damage to this ender dragon with the bow while it was flying around in the air. I have never in my life of playing Minecraft ever have an ender dragon that just didn't go down and perch. It was really weird, but yeah, I guess it could happen. Flew around, hit it with a few more arrows, and there you go. Killed him off, and we've successfully killed the ender dragon for the 4th time. Grabbed the XP, I went back into the overworld, only to find out that, oh yeah, I forgot I slept in this village and not my regular base, so I had to fly back home really quick for our final day. And once I got home, I grabbed Pongo. Yet again, we never really used Pongo in this video because I have my elytra, but hey, this is another 100 days of successfully keeping the pet I've had since day 1 alive. So, you know, it's nice just to grab Pongo, get him out every now and again, stretch his legs, do a little bit of parkour to get on top of a tree here, and finally watch the sunset on our 500th day. It is absolutely insane how long I've been playing this same world. I have never actually put this much work into a single world in the entire 9 years I've been playing Minecraft, but this entire thing has been so fun. It's so exciting. We have advanced our base so much, and I can't wait for 600 days. So there you go, the sun is finally setting over the horizon, the very last sliver of the sun disappears, and there you go. So I went back to our base, and as is tradition, I always bring Pongo inside with me for our final day, so brought him inside, went to sleep, and there you go. Now, I know this video may not have been the most exciting 100-day video out of all of them. A lot of just sort of tedious work was done in this video with building farms and this castle and getting achievements. But, I mean, I have to say, we got a pretty decent amount done. Our base is looking really nice. We got a lot more supplies. We got all of the advancements. We got 2 more beacons. We got quite a lot done, and I was really proud of the progress that I was able to make in these 100 days. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.